As you look at the economy in the UK, is it a balance between our toleration, our ability to take on a 25 basis point hike without quashing growth further? Is that the balance here that we look at?
The bottom line here for us is, growth has slowed this year significantly compared to last year. It's done that while other economies, particularly the Eurozone, still the UK's major trading partner, have accelerated materially. That to us is all early warning signs that the Brexit process is having some significant and increasing headwind impacts on the UK economy. So from here, especially with a rate hike, tightening monetary conditions for consumers, leading to higher mortgage rates and therefore, more distress for consumers who are already pretty hard pressed by negative real earnings and low savings, it is a move that didn't have to be made. And from here, it's hard for us to see how growth is going to reaccelerate if this Brexit process continues to be very problematic and meanwhile monetary conditions are tightening. So we think this, as I say, is a risk.
We are the political establishment distracted by other matters at the moment, and we saw the resignation of the UK Defence Secretary. In terms of the markets, this clearly matters for many reasons, that whole debate and that whole story. But in terms of the markets, is it all about whether this leads to questions about May's tenure, questions about some of the key members of her team or the key Brexiteers? I mean, that's where this starts to get interesting from a market perspective.
Yeah, and, as you say, the specifics of what's going on aren't relevant. What's relevant is that this government, as we know, as a result of the election held earlier this year, has a very thin, effective majority, and therefore any sort of turbulence within the Conservative Party, the current dynamics around that government, does raise questions about their ability to withstand the next 4 or 5 years, as the parliamentary term suggests that they're going to do. And in the context of the Brexit negotiations, that's additionally problematic, because what it means to us is the government effectively has its hands tied. It has to pursue a path in the negotiations without a degree of flexibility, because whenever it moves in a softer or harder direction, its own parliamentarians who are on one wing or the other of that debate make it clear that they're not happy with that. So it almost predetermines the stance they take into the negotiations, which adds to their complexity and adds to our conviction that any deal is only going to come very late in the day, and that's why we think these headwinds around the economy strengthen further.
John, thank you.